Good morning, friends. This is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I'm going to say welcome to 2023 because I don't think this video will be up today. Today is December 31st, 2022. So what I am making today, and it's a result of, I went in after my shower and was getting dressed and stuff, and I knew I was getting to the day where I need to change this, is my deodorant. I mean, there was still a little bit left. I could probably have gotten a couple more days. But I decided, you know what, I need a fresh start for my day, a fresh start for the year. And it was just a little bit, and it was starting to dry out, and I could have added more oils and stuff. But I said, no, sometimes we just need to get rid of the old, and it's okay to do that, and start with the new. And because this lasts me for so long, I don't have a problem getting rid of it when it's time to. And seriously, it had maybe another couple days worth in there. But I didn't want that in 2 days that maybe I wouldn't have time to make it, and I'm going to do it today. So I'm going to take you along this journey of making deodorant. There are very many different ways of making deodorant. Today I'm making it a little bit different than the deodorant I made way back spring, summer. And I made it different where I just stirred it all together and everything. This one I'm going to actually use a double boiler. Do you have to? I think you have to determine that. If you do not have a double boiler, you can actually, as long as you have water in your pan, you can use a glass jar and put it in there and just keep stirring it so your glass doesn't break. And use a heat tempered, like a canning jar, when you do that. I am actually going to use a double boiler that I purposely have on hand for it. This particular double boiler I use for my cosmetic making purposes. And I also use it for candle making. I use it and I keep my food out of it. Although I use food grade ingredients, I just kind of like to use it separate. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell you what's in it. Today I'm going to be using I can't even talk this morning. Welcome to the world. Bentonite clay. I'm going to use coconut oil. I'm going to use it's organic baking soda. There would be more in here. One time I was having my husband help me make something, and I asked him, I need a couple tablespoons of this, and he started using this all the time for stuff. And I'm like, honey, how come there's not much left? And he goes, it's baking soda. I said, yeah, but it's my organic baking soda. He goes, oh, what's the difference? I said, the only way I could explain it to him so he doesn't use it for everyday stuff, I said, it's more expensive. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. But I didn't care because I tried to buy more organic baking soda. But sometimes for some items, it doesn't really matter if it's organic or not. So, long story, but let's bring it back to the topic. Baking soda, organic or not, it's really up to you. And I have made my deodorant with non-organic items. I'm going to be using white beeswax. I'm using up all my white because I would prefer to use the golden, but it'll still look pretty. I'm going to be using some shea butter. And then I'm going to add a few essential oils. Essential oils are your choice. I used to use lavender in it, but I make a perfume for myself using lavender and a few other essential oils that I like, and I use lavender in other items that I make. So I just want my deodorant to be plain and simple, and all I'm going to be using is Ylang Ylang, and I'm going to be using frankincense. Both of these items are healing and calming. Now, the reason that I do not use store-bought deodorant, and I haven't for years, the reason is my armpits used to get really irritated all the time, and it was getting to the point where it was painful, and I just decided I can't wear it anymore. Well, it's fine around the house, I guess. And I can certainly do deodorant wipes. I do make those as well. But there comes a time where you really need to put a little deodorant on. So, and most especially when your husband says something, hey Laura, we work hard in this house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this particular deodorant that I make. First, we're going to start out putting the ingredients into the double boiler. I already put water in there already so that we can get that started. The first ingredient is going to be some coconut oil. And I'm going to be using 2 tablespoons, if I can open the jar. And it's kind of solid because it's cold weather, which is kind of good. Let me see what I can use here. I need a taller spoon than that. And all of this is going to go into the double boiler. And I don't know if you can see, I will turn this a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I have a wooden spoon here that I'm pulling it out of the coconut oil jar. You can get coconut oil almost anywhere. You can get it online, you can get it in the grocery store, you can get it at Walmart, your grocery store, organic stores, natural stores. You pretty much can get coconut oil anywhere. Coconut oil varies in price. You can go to Job Lot. I don't know if you have Job Lots in your area. They carry it. It doesn't need to be organic. I can't make it, so I try to get the best brand, but I also have to watch my budget. All right, so this measuring spoon is actually a 2 tablespoon. I don't know if you can see that. It's actually 2 tablespoons, and that's what I'm going to be using with the coconut oil. So my double boiler is not on yet. And I'm going to leave that spoon in there for me to use. The next ingredient that I'm going to put in there is going to be 1 tablespoon of beeswax. And because all the ingredients are going together, I might end up using some of the same measuring tools. The next ingredient is 1 tablespoon of shea butter. Now some people might not have shea butter. You can use cocoa butter if you don't have shea butter, or if you don't like shea butter. And I'm going to start melting these. And it doesn't take very long to melt, but you don't want to burn it. You just want to get them to a liquid point. And so that's what we're going to do, is just get it to a liquid state. And it won't take very long. I don't even have to sit here and play with it because it's actually going to take care of itself really quickly. Okay, the items are actually melting up really nice. They're still in the solid stage, but they are getting liquefied. So we'll keep that water going and getting these melted. So part of the reason I think I shared the essential oils I choose is for healing and less inflammation. And I think I might have shared the reason that I make my own deodorant. It might have been in take 1. Sometimes I just don't know how things are going to turn out, and then I stop and start. But anyways, the reason I don't use over-the-counter deodorants and stuff is because my arms get infected. They turn red and pimply, and they become very, very irritated, where I would have to go a couple of days without wearing deodorant. But in saying that, I decided I had to find something that wouldn't allow that to happen, because I don't mind wearing deodorant. I mean, we've been wearing it for a long time, but there are items in our deodorant that can cause irritation. I have an allergy to PEG, P-E-G, polyethylene glycol. It's in a lot of cosmetic products, and people are not aware of that, and you really need to read your labels. I mean, if the cosmetics are doing fine for you, I'm not here to judge what you're using at all. But that was one ingredient I discovered later as to why, and it does cause skin inflammation. There are some things, there's like a medical lube that I cannot have the doctor use because it causes major inflammation. And it's not that I'm a picky person, picky patient. I just know how my body responds. Why would I use deodorant every single day that caused total discomfort in my arms, where I would have to come home, or middle of the day or the end of the day, I would be putting cold compresses on my underarm. Same thing with those lubes. It's harder to take care of where they use that. But I have learned what I'm allergic to, and PEG is one of them. So if you have allergies to certain cosmetics that you use, take a look at those labels. All right, this has become, I'm going to just turn this down because the heat of the pan will keep going. It saves me a little gas. How much? Maybe not enough. But I allow it to finish heating. There's a little bit of the, and I could even take it off here. There's a little bit of the, can't think today, the beeswax in here, and it's almost done. It's almost gone, and it's all gone. So now all I have in here is liquid. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to put in 2 tablespoons of bentonite clay. And then I'm going to stir that in. And then the next ingredient is going to be the baking soda. We'll get this started mixing that in. And it looks a little gray because that's what bentonite clay does. It has like a grayish tint to it. The next ingredient that I'm putting in is 1 tablespoon of baking soda. And yes, I have to order some. I'm running out. But I also have more baking soda that I use for baking and stuff like that. So it's, I will not have a heart attack. I just noticed it, and he goes, it was really interesting because I said to him, I said, are you using my baking soda for something? And that's when we learned what he was doing. All right, so I'm going to finish stirring this all in. And so as you can see, or maybe not, it has like a grayish look to it. And what I'm going to do next, it's not the end of the world, folks. Besides, what if it's a day I haven't shaved my armpits? Who's looking at your armpits? It actually goes into your skin, so you really won't see it. The next thing is, the recipe, the original recipe calls for like 15 drops of lavender. And as I said, I love lavender. I use it in one of my fragrances that I make. And I make my fragrances with essential oils and a carrier oil. But I don't want it under my armpits, so I am going to use Ylang Ylang. And I'm going to use frankincense. It says 15 of lavender. I'm going to do 8 of each. And you know what? If 1 drop goes over, don't worry about it. It will be fine. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can use a dropper, or you can, if you have little covers like this on your essential oils, you can use this. And this is the frankincense. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoops, 9. Got 9 in there. So you stir that right in. It smelled heavily. I do tend to use Ylang Ylang, frankincense, lavender. Those are a few of the items that I use in my homemade deodorant. I mean, not made deodorant, excuse me, my perfume. And I just love it. It's very calming for me. I am going to change the camera so that you can see me pouring it into the jar, because this is ready. Now all it has to do is cool. I will put a washcloth underneath just to kind of like give it protection, because my counter is, I'm telling you, I should have started this when I was more awake, I guess. The counter always stays cold, so I want to just avoid the glass breaking. And I start bringing this in, and what's going to happen is I am going to let this cool. Everything's mixed in really nice. And just stir it as you go. It's all stirred in there, so it's starting to solidify, and you can see it. But as long as it's stirred really well in the pan, which we did, you bring it in here, and it smells absolutely wonderful. It's not too hot. And I'm going to let that solidify, and you can see that it's starting to solidify. Well, I don't like to put things to waste, so I'm going to put this underneath, and it goes on really nice and soft. It smells amazing. Hold on. There wasn't much that I used this morning. And the nice thing is, it smells wonderful. And once this is done cooling, or you can do it earlier, it's really up to you. I like to let it cool. Just put a lid on it and let it stay. Now there is some dripping happening here because some got onto the edge. Not the end of the world. Just wipe it up so that when you go and put it in your bedroom, it's not dripping all over the place. And that's why you kind of want to make sure it's solid. I'm going to just let it sit and get solidified. And if you take a look at it, I'm going to change the camera a little bit so you can see. It's getting solid really fast. So it won't take too long for that to be finished. And what's really nice, I just put this on. When I used to put deodorant on, I didn't like it. I didn't like the feel. I didn't like how irritated my skin was beginning to get. And over years of using deodorant, your body just kind of like, and I was using the same kind all the time, and then I would switch because I thought that was the problem, and it made things worse. One thing I want to share with you, and I would recommend that you get this book, Green Beauty. It's a great book. I've had this one for years, for a long time. I'm trying to think, okay, should I say years when it's probably, let me see if I can quickly tell you the date of when it was written. I can never find things. 2008. So it's been over 10 years, and so I can say I've had it for a while. When it comes to short-term effects from daily use, contact allergic dermatitis is the most common side effect of using products containing propylene glycol and various PEGs. If you look at your ingredients in a lot of your cosmetics and some other products too, look for them because they are in there. These chemicals are known to aggravate acne and eczema by rupturing skin cell membranes. Propylene glycol, used as a penetration enhancer I should have just done this else time, but I've already made the deodorant, so you're going to have to put up. It has been found to provoke skin irritations and sensitization in humans in concentrations as low as 2%, while the industry review panel recommends that cosmetics can contain up to 50% of the substance, and that's Johnson in 2001. But current studies have not shown that propylene or the other glycos can cause cancer when used in cosmetics. Female animals that ate large amounts of ethylene glycol had babies with birth defects, while male animals had reduced sperm count. Ethylene glycol and propylene glycol affect the body's chemistry by increasing the amount of acid, resulting in metabolic problems. However, there's more to it. Now, I didn't get this book until after I started making my own deodorant. And then I got this Green Beauty because I thought, well, this would be great because it'd be a nice resource, kind of like confirming what I was reading elsewhere. I just liked it because it's in a compact book and I don't have to write all kinds of notes from the internet. And I do recommend that if you are getting information from people, write down whatever it is that you want to have written down. But when somebody recommends a book, consider getting it if you have the resources. Otherwise, just kind of like follow through and take notes from it as they share. Because I cannot read this book to you from page 1 to the end. But it's a good source if you want to make your own cosmetics. Does it have recipes? I'm not using a recipe from here. It does have different skin screen things for your hands, scrubs, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think, I bought this, a long while ago. And I have used some of the recipes, I think. But as we get going, we kind of like, this has been working. So I do change my deodorant formulas from time to time. So that being said, look at this. It's not completely solid, but it's getting there. And so you'll be able to use this, and it's soft. And when I put a deodorant on, the store-bought deodorants used to be you'd have to rub it on hard, which makes it even worse because you're aggravating your skin. So all you want to do is, after you've had a shower, whether you've shaved or not, give your armpits a chance to dry. That's really important. Let them air out. And then put your deodorant on. Whether you're making your own or you're using over-the-counter deodorants, give your body a rest, more so if you just shaved your armpits, because your armpits are just they've broken up the skin a little bit, so you want healing. But the ingredients in here are healing properties. They have like the coconut oil and the bentonite clay. Those are items that are very healing, and I like I said, the frankincense and the Ylang Ylang. Actually, the frankincense is more on a healing. I use it for other things, like if I have inflammation, I put a little bit of frankincense on, depending on the situation. So that is my homemade deodorant for this quarter of the year. I do make new deodorant every 3 to 4 months, and I really like changing it up a little bit. But I have my other recipe, which is a dry formula. But I've been trying this every now and then, and it just goes together a lot easier, and it's nice and quick. So I've been talking for a bit. We're talking about 15 minutes here. So if you can spare a few minutes and you have these ingredients on hand, it'll be great. So bentonite clay, coconut oil, baking soda, beeswax, shea butter. If you're allergic to shea butter, consider cocoa butter. We have the essential oils of your choice, about 15 drops. You can use lavender. You can, 15 drops of lavender, or you can split it between your favorite essential oils that you find calming. Now, if you can't use baking soda, I've heard people have a problem with baking soda. Consider replacing that with arrowroot. It's another white powder, and that should do the same thing. It would absorb odors and stuff like that. So that's an option for you. So I hope this was helpful. I really do enjoy sharing some of these things with you. And yes, I change things up from time to time. But, we're all learning. We're all trying to make our bodies better, or at least I am. And there are some things, if you didn't know that your armpits are getting red and irritated, you might not have understood why. Check the label. See if it has PEG on it. See if there's other ingredients that you cannot pronounce. I mean, did you hear me babble there a little bit? It's not that I can't say those words. It's just that morning. Sometimes that happens to me. So please forgive me with that. Make sure you understand. But I want to tell you one other thing. They will tell you that why they use PEG, like the lubricants physicians use. Sometimes they're used so that they can help I can't even see that word. It helps them use the instruments that they're using. So you have to be an advocate for yourself. It's on my chart. Don't use. But a new person who's taking care of me, I have to remind them, because one of my physicians will always say, you can't use this, can you? And I say no. And even when I go in, and a lot of times what they do with some of the instruments is they lube them up before the physician comes in. You have to tell them, don't do that. I call ahead, or I'll message ahead or something, but now it's on my chart not to do that. And I hope that, because I was a real pain in the neck. I didn't mean to be a pain in the neck. I just don't want to go home with a bunch of irritation for a day and a half. And you come home and you start saying words under your breath, because you're irritated, and you have to take a bath to kind of like settle things down. You shouldn't need to do stuff like that after you've seen a physician. But you shouldn't have to put cool compresses under your armpits because of the ingredients that are in our deodorants. Watch your cosmetic products, the ones on your face. I can't use a lot of store-bought cosmetics because my face gets red and it flares. I have to be very, very careful on the moisturizers. And there's some great brands out there, and I have a few. And then recently, some of them have changed their formula. So I'm sharing that because I want you to get in the habit of, when you're shopping, check the labels. When you buy online, you don't always see the current label. So keep that in mind. I still order online, but I buy less and less of those type products that go on my skin. I do buy some of these things. I buy my herbs online that I can't grow, or I haven't had an opportunity to grow, or I go right to my health store in town, because they will get you the products that you need. I can get anything that I want there. It's a little pricey, but they're a small business. They have overheads, and they're getting you the product that you need to help with your health. So check, kind of consider doing something like this. But more importantly, if you don't want to make your own deodorant, consider buying from somebody who makes it. Go into your health food store and look at the labels. Just check those labels. And just because mass marketing is advertising that these are used by Hollywood stars and stuff, that doesn't mean that they are. They use them as an image. Remember, advertising is designed to make you purchase what is appropriate, because once you use some of these products, you're not supposed to be able to return them. It's like buying a pair of underwear. You shouldn't be returning them after you wear them. So that is something to keep in mind. So hope that was great information for you, and I hope that you're having a great start to your new year. God bless.